Hello everyone, Female Frodo Baggins here, and today I have good news. The best news, actually. In fact, it's probably the best news that we've heard about the entertainment industry in a long time, which I am going to cover in this video. Gina Carano has won her lawsuit against Disney. She won.
You won!
And there are some people out there trying to say that this is not a win because it was settled out of court. But I want to explain in this video why this is such a big win, actually. And it's probably, it is, I think, the best outcome that could possibly happen with this, and why it is not only going to mean good things for this lady's career, but it is going to mean great things for the entertainment industry and how our characters and stories are handled. Now, how could I be saying all of that? Well, you're going to have to watch this video to find out. I have 4 points that I want to go over this video. I want to talk about this lawsuit and what actually happened with the statements and why they're such a sweeping big deal. I want to address the dissent. If there are a bunch of people against this win for Gina Carano and the people who think that who are on her side but do not think that this was the best outcome, I want to address what is going to happen with her in the future, and I want to address why, once again, this is a massive win for the entertainment industry and the characters and stories we like. But you just have to watch and find out. But yes, I believe that this is the best possible outcome for this situation. And let's go over why. So, for those who don't know, and I don't imagine if in this space that you don't know, Gina Carano was an actress on The Mandalorian show in Star Wars. And she got under fire on Twitter after people were pressuring her and Pedro Pascal to put pronouns in their bios, and Pedro Pascal did it right away. Gina did not and put beep bop boop instead, which started her in a big war against these people against Twitter. She seemed to express things that would put her on a different side of the political spectrum, and that got her in a lot of hot water. But the big thing happened when she was fired by Disney but they never even contacted her. They just did it from a statement from a news. They would seem to defame her on the way out. I mean, not would seem, they did defame her on the way out. When they fired her, they wrote, "Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable." The reason why I laugh a bit is she never did that. But that is what Lucasfilm wrote about Gina Carano 4 years ago. Wow, it's crazy to think that all of this happened 4 years ago. And that is what gives her the grounds for a lawsuit, because they defamed her on the way out. She lost her career, she lost her agent, she was blacklisted. The one thing she got, though, is she was seen as a bit of a martyr, someone who was mistreated by Disney, and so she actually garnered a legitimate fan base after that. People say that when you go to Comic-Cons and she appears, there's actually a line to get her autograph and talk to her. Now, you can't always say that about people. There are people with YouTube followings and Instagram followings that simply do not materialize in real life. She had a fan base that materialized in real life. But anyway, I've seen interviews and things with Gina Carano, and she really just seems like a nice person. Like, it's believable that a lot of people behind the scenes have said that she's just a great person to work with. That is what I've actually heard behind the scenes. And so it's amazing that as Disney made a settlement with her, Disney settled this out of court with her, and they were going to because, and this is the big thing, if this lawsuit had gone any further, it would have gone to Discovery, and that would have blown up all of Disney's cupboards. It would have made sure that they had to air all of their dirty laundry, and they did not want that. And that is the big thing. That's what people are saying. It is clear. If you want any idea of what Disney didn't want to be revealed and how bad it would be, Disney settled this out of court, and they had to walk back their statement on her. This is what the Walt Disney Company said. The Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm are pleased to announce that we have reached an agreement with Gina Carano to resolve the issues in her pending lawsuit against the companies. Ms. Carano was always well respected by her directors, co-stars, and staff, and she worked hard to perfect her craft while treating her colleagues with kindness and respect. Now, for those who say that this is not a win, just look at how they changed their tune on her. Now, you might be saying, they didn't publicly apologize. They didn't. Yes, they did. They said they had their spokespeople for Lucasfilm say some just the worst things they could about her on the way out and defame her character and blacklist her. Because here's how blacklisting works in Hollywood. All of a sudden, a person becomes like kryptonite. You can't work with that person or you'll be blacklisted too, because what does working with that person who's been blacklisted say about you? That's why Gina Carano lost opportunities. She lost agents. She lost everything. So because of the litigious company that is Disney said those words about her. But now they have walked back on those words. They've eaten those words. This is their apology. They've had to go back on everything that they stood against her before. That is huge. That is the hugest thing that has come out from all of this. But before we go further in this video, though, I want to address the dissent of this. First of all, it was the Twitterati. It was the Twitter people that got Gina Carano's career destroyed in the first place. But as this came out and as she won her lawsuit, they were surprisingly quiet. I didn't see a lot from them. There were some if you looked for it, but I didn't see a lot from them. Now, is it because this is an old conflict and a lot of those people who cared about it coming against her have gone away? Maybe. Is it because this was so obviously a false case to begin with, and that they know it's false, and that they know that they've so resoundingly lost with this that they're quiet about it? I think that might have more to do with it, because of all the things, let me just say this, and I don't care at this point, of all the things to fire Gina Carano over, it was over the trans movement, it was over that, and let's just say, I don't think it's going so well for that right now. Just look at J.K. Rowling. Nothing has affected her. She is still multi-millionaire, making millions off of her books. So, of all the hills for Gina Carano to die on, well, this one was not going to stick against her, I guess. But I think that is why they're so quiet, because this is such a resounding victory for her and a walk back by Disney. It's absolutely pointless to protest this. So that is Gina Carano taking a big win against the people who took her down in the first place. Now, I want to say here, I am still of the personal opinion that it's a good idea for people to not wade their way into politics if they are promoting entertainment. It should just be about the entertainment itself. Gina was kind of pulled into this, though. If you watch the situation, it all started with them pressuring her to put pronouns in her bio when she didn't want to. So I do see this as a little bit different. But I mean, you can't have Pedro Pascal taking the same subject, just a different stance on the red carpets on these Disney events. Have him take this stance and get all the roles in Disney movies, and then say that you are being fair to Gina Carano for firing her for talking about the same subject. So that is how Disney knew that they were cooked with this, and that is how they knew that they needed to fold. And once again, people are saying that this isn't a win because it didn't go to Discovery and it did not blow open Disney's cupboards and show all their dirty laundry and all their terrible things. Now, first of all, I believe that would be an unrealistic expectation, but I vehemently believe that the people who say that this is not a win and that it needed to go to Discovery would have been the best situation. I disagree with those people. I completely disagree with those people. You can sound off in the comments what you think, but here's why I disagree with those people. First of all, Gina Carano never said that it was her intention to get revenge on Disney or to try to take down Disney. Her goal with this was to clear her name because, once again, they defamed her on the way out, they destroyed her reputation, and they destroyed her career. Her goal with this was to get her reputation back and to get them to take back those words about her. And that is what they've done. She has said in her tweets and her statements about this that she is very happy with the outcome. She's gotten the outcome that she's wanted. She's gotten her career back. Now the statements about her are null and void because Disney themselves walked back on them. They've shown that the Twitter people who are trying to take her down don't have power anymore. But here is the big deal of all of this, is that apparently part of this includes projects for her in the future. And I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about Disney making good on those projects and what they could possibly be. But here's the thing. If this had gone to Discovery, if this had blown apart a part of Disney, it wouldn't have taken a Disney down or anything like that. It could have done damage. But what would happen with that, if Gina didn't want to settle, if she tried to pull out Disney to court and have all of their dirty laundry aired out, what it would have done is she might have gotten money at the end of it all. She would not have gotten her career back. She would have basically just died on this hill, and Disney would still be this mega corporation. So essentially, the people who wanted this to go to Discovery, their best interests here are not, they're not taking Gina Carano's best interest to heart. They're taking their best interest to heart. I know that a lot of YouTubers out there would want Disney's cupboards to be blown open and want to make endless videos off of the exposés on Disney after that and get revenge on Disney. But that Gina would have died on that hill. Her career would have been over. And I don't think that it would have actually been the best case scenario, because Disney was never going to be taken down as a company. And I'm not trying to get them to be taken down as a company or anything. It would have just been a big explosion that would have been a big expose for Disney. And then they would make sure in the future that a Gina Carano situation would not happen again. But this situation that has happened here, with them walking back on it with Gina Carano, in my opinion, it is actually the best case scenario, because I already know what must have gone on with Disney behind the scenes when it came to this situation. I don't need their cupboards to be open. I already can figure it out for myself. But here's what this does for the future, actually. First of all, apparently in this whole situation, it is showing that those people on Twitter who tried to take Gina Carano down, they don't have power anymore. And that the cancel culture that used to have power does not have power anymore. Now, what Gina is getting out of this, apparently, and she has said this before, is what she wanted out of it, is Disney apparently is going to have to make projects with her in the future. She's gonna work with Disney again, and she's gonna get projects. And I wonder about them honoring that supposed agreement. Are they just gonna give her a crappy Disney Plus show that they barely advertise? Are they going to give her like a minor role that's a really crappy role in a project that they're going to try to cut out? Or are the lawyers going to hold Disney to this and give Gina Carano something good? Like, I don't think that she should appear in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, because I think that that movie is cooked. Also, it's already been shot. She couldn't really appear in a major capacity. Where she could appear is she could actually get a substantial, decent role in the Sean Levy Star Wars movie. And that would be a big deal, because once again, it would be public. It would be visible that this sort of cancellation that went on 4 years ago, it has no power anymore. It cannot destroy your career. You can still go forward and get projects. Like I was saying a little bit earlier, the blacklisting in Hollywood up to this point has been basically like this rickrolling, like a litigious organization blacklists you, and then everyone else has to follow suit, or they'll be blacklisted as well. But Disney is allegedly going to work with her again. We'll see. We'll hold them to it. We'll see if that pans out. So that is going to stop a lot of this blacklisting. It's going to show that it can't happen anymore. And it's almost like this new day where people can open up again and not be so afraid. And these companies don't need to be so afraid in the future. If you got Gina Carano in a decent sized role in a big Star Wars movie that's supposed to be for their 50th anniversary, it would be a major sign that things are changing and that other actors and creators don't need to be afraid anymore. Because here is a company going forth and walking back on their word and allowing this actress to be where she wants to be again. And I think, like, I haven't been interested in anything regarding that Sean Levy Star Wars movie, but I would be interested to see it if she was in it, because it would for once feel like something has changed at Disney and that this is not the result of the culture at Disney Star Wars that it has been. And Gina Carano, I'm not sure how widespread this situation is actually, because the internet is not reality, but she does have her fans. I don't think putting her in the movie would do anything to hinder it, but this is what she wanted, and this is the biggest win for her. Once again, she said she's very happy with it, but I want to talk about why this is a massive win for the entertainment industry in general. Once again, it's showing that these people on Twitter and these mobs, that they don't have power anymore like they did over her. And we're seeing several situations, actually, that are showing that the mobs don't have power anymore. Wasn't there that crazy, like, they were trying to make some sort of controversy of Hunter Schafer not being cast as Zelda, even though Nintendo never said that they considered casting Hunter Schafer as Zelda, but Twitter was trying to make about a controversy? Aren't they trying to make Sydney Sweeney really controversial for no reason? I even saw a tweet this morning that was trying to blast her, not wanting her to even be in a project anymore with 300K likes on it. People are seeing that Twitter is not reality. Didn't it just come out that like 50% of the internet is bots? These people don't have any power anymore. Like Sydney Sweeney, the company that she was doing commercials for, they stood by her and they're making a lot of money for it. It is being seen by these companies that the Twitter activists aren't real people. A lot of it is just boosted by bots, and they should not have any power. They are not the audience. And yes, this is good for actors. And yes, I think that Gina is doing the best thing she could possibly do by being a symbol to show that people don't need to be afraid anymore and people do not need to cave into these hateful cancel mobs. But also, this is going to affect the characters and stories we like, because the characters and stories we like have been affected by these cancel mobs too, where companies and writers need to kowtow to them constantly and make changes to these characters. They can't just take into consideration what the fans want and the audience want. They have to always kowtow to these activists on Twitter, lest they get mad and lest that damages their project. But now they're saying that that is not going to damage their project because these people aren't real. They don't make any effect. J.K. Rowling is making more money than ever. Gina Carano actually has a fan base. Sydney Sweeney is gonna buy another house soon. These cancel mobs do not have any power. And so it feels like a new day of entertainment where entertainment is going in the direction where it no longer has to be restricted and it no longer has to be afraid. And that's a big deal because entertainment should be exploding with creativity and people bringing forth their ideas. It should not be constantly restricted and afraid. And, oh, we can't show that character having flaws. Oh, we can't show that character as that, or they'll get mad at us. They do not have any power anymore. And all these companies need to do to these people is say,
you have no power here.
That. And they can go forward and actually make their decisions with their commercials and their marketing and their entertainment that they used to with freedom, not being scared to these people who have a rigid set of rules that they don't even believe in themselves, that most people don't even believe. And if you are upset with me for taking this stance on this video with Gina Carano and saying that this is a good thing, I don't care. Because clearly you and the ilk of people that got her canceled in the first place don't have any power anymore. But we still need to hold Disney to this. Like they said that they're looking forward to working with Gina Carano on projects. Again, we should advocate that it is the best projects possible. I think that it should be Sean Levy's Star Wars movie. And that is the first thing that's gotten me interested in that. But I want to hear your thoughts on this down below. What do you think on this situation? What do you think of my thoughts on this situation? Is there anything you'd like to add? Once again, let me know in the comments below. If you want to support my channel, please consider becoming a member or a patron. Can't believe I finally did another Star Wars video again, and I will see you guys next time.